Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Legal Aerobics Chatroom. If you are just joining us, we are glad to have you here. This platform is where we talk about everything trending, talking about societal, anything trending, and then we look at it from a legal perspective just to educate you about your rights and the law. Don't forget to subscribe and also drop your comment in the comment section. Today we'll be discussing a very hot topic. It's on the issue of demolition in Nigeria. And I'm not the only one here. I'm with someone with years of experience, legal experience for that matter. So she'll be, breaking down the law, telling us things that we need to know about demolition issues in Nigeria. So ma'am, can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
So thank you so much, Timmy, for the invite. I do very much appreciate.
Welcome.
I am Mbet Ezekiel, and I'm glad to be on.
Glad to be here too. So in recent times, we've seen cases of demolition issues, and our first question for you is, what do you think is responsible for this increasing accidents in Nigeria? The way you just see the house being demolished even without prior notice, what do you think is the issue, the real issue for?
Okay, first we have to know what the demolition is all about. So in Lagos State, there are laws governing the activities of the Lagos State Building Control Agency, and it is the Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning Law. And also we have the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority Regulations of 2019. Now, for any building to be demolished, I believe that the Lagos State Building Control Agency have passed through due processes. Now, this demolition of structure is not because they just want to demolish it. Now, the Lagos State Building Control Agency, they are in charge to maintain structure building in Lagos State. Over time, we've found out that most structures are being demolished. And why are they being demolished? It's because most of the buildings are unauthorized. Most of these buildings, their plans, their approval plans were not, or their building plans were not approved, and they went ahead to build. Most of them are shanties. Most of them are makeshift stores. And for some of these buildings, that is where illicit activities happens. And there are some buildings that are constructed on the passageway, that is drainage system. And because these buildings are there, it tends to cause flood. So the aspect of demolition there is to ensure that there is a good passage of drainage system. There was an occasion that happened sometime back in Dumagbo in Lagos Island, where certain building collapsed on people. So these are examples of why the Lagos State Building Agency, Control Agency goes around to map out this building for demolition.
Moving on to our next question, what are the documents that you must have to avoid your property being demolished? Because most people, they just get any kind of document. They don't even know the one that is legal to have. Because when people like that come to demolish your house, you can't even show them like a legit document. So what are the documents that you must possess to be able to show others that you are the real owner of the property?
Well, at this point in time, Nigeria is a growing society. I would say we are developing society, and we are still getting there. Like in the developed world, you can't just go and tell someone that you just want to buy a land. There are certain processes you should know or go through, and that is why the services of a real estate lawyer or a property lawyer, as the case may be, it's always necessary or needed. So some of the documents or the relevant documents among all, it's first is the payment receipt, showing whom you have paid, make payment to. It could be a family receipt, it could be an individual receipt, depending on the nature of the land.
Okay.
Then followed by your deed of assignment. Also, you need a survey plan. And that survey plan needs to be registered. When it is now registered, it's now called a registered deed of assignment, registered survey plan. And also, another important thing is the C of O, which we know C of O, but it's called the certificate of occupants. Now, the certificate of occupants, it's what the government certify you now as the owner and gives you the right to own that property. And the duration is for 99 years. Where there is a C of O, that's where the governor's consent comes in also. So these are the documents that, among all other documents that you should tender, which are valid to prove that you are the legit owner of that property.
For those that don't have the money to, employ the services of those people you just mentioned, do you think it's necessary to, to seek their opinions or to employ their services?
The legal services of a legal practitioner, a property lawyer, cannot be overemphasized, because after investing some money in buying a property, maybe as small as 5 million, and then you lose it. And you now compare to paying a lawyer 10% of that particular amount. Even Omonile extorts money, much more. Having paid, at the end of the day, Omonile still resell that land, resell to 10-20 persons. And most times you cannot drag it because a lot of things happen. African magic can take place in the process. You just leave it. So I would say, rather than risk it, why don't you speak with a lawyer? The 10% is not biting. But the lawyer make investigation, conduct due diligence to ensure that that person is actually the owner. So why don't you give that 10% to the lawyer and save the stress?
Yeah, that's very accurate. So give that 10% to the lawyer. Now, next question. How easy or difficult is it to obtain these documents?
From the lands registry, that is in Alausa, that's where you get most of these documents. Lands registry, Surveyor General's office for the survey plan.
Do you think the government can actually demolish your property without giving you a prior notice?
An agency that is empowered to do this. And they are not just empowered to take any decision on their own, they are being guided by the law of the land, which I mentioned that we have the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority Regulation of 2019 and the Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning Law. So these laws are put in place to curtail excessive power or an abuse of their work. Do you understand? So I am of the opinion that no government will wake up to demolish a house overnight. That's why most times when you go through some property, you see that X, a red X. So these are the things that a lawyer, that is why the services of a lawyer is needed.
Our next question would be, how do you identify a government property?
The first thing a property lawyer will do is check the status of that property, of that land, of that environment. Is it under the government acquisition scheme or is it free from it? The person intending to sell, who happens to be the assignor that intends to sell, you will request for the title of that the title document, like the survey plan. The survey plan should be registered anyway. The survey plan, you use it to make your findings in the Surveyor General's office to know if that land falls under the government acquired property or if it is free from government acquisition.
Okay, so our final question would be, what do you think the government can do to raise more awareness on the legal process of acquiring land? Because most people are so ignorant, they don't know. So what do you think the government can do to raise awareness?
So one of the things I think the government should do is sufficient notice. They should always encourage buyers or would-be property owners to always make use of lawyers. And they can also come out to also encourage or to let the general public know that don't buy land from any persons who are not authorized to sell same, because it will save your time, your stress, your financial resources,
energy,
your energy, and importantly, your good health, your peace of mind. Thank you so
You stop
much.
thinking. Thank you so much, Ma, for joining us on today's episode of Legal Aerobics Chatroom. Thank you for your valuable input.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. And also to our viewers, always do your due diligence before buying or acquiring a property. And as you said earlier, make sure you consult the services of a property lawyer so you won't get duped, and also so it can save your time, your money, and also your peace of mind. Until we come your way again next time, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at Legal Aerobics, and also subscribe and drop your comment in the comment section. Stay safe and obey the law. Bye. Bye.